Thank the good Lord, it finally rained a little bit. Go figure, the tillage tractor was thirsty.
Marty's already up to his early morning antics. Who knows what he's going to do? She's full. Let's see if we got the fuel usage down at all by lifting that implement out of the ground yesterday. 124 gallons of fuel in the tank. We worked a long 80, so right around 1.5 gallons per acre. That's better than the 2.5 gallons per acre we used the day prior. Cade from Lakeland College isn't available today. He said he's got class or something silly like that. We're just gonna back this out of the way and worry about it some other time. That ought to do.
Enjoy your day off. Topping off another tillage tractor.
You guys in your astute observations may notice that there is not any tillage implement on the back of this 9460R. That's because one of our neighbors leases one of our spare tractors from us in the fall for 10 or 15 hours to do some tillage on his own farm. That way he doesn't have to buy a big tractor, but he can pull some heavy earth moving equipment, turn that soil up. It's a win-win for both of us. We've got a spare tractor. It gets a little bit of use before we put it into full action here in another couple weeks on our farm. And he gets his groundwork without having to buy a big expensive tractor. By the way, it didn't even rain 1/10 of an inch. Although it looked like more, it was pretty much an immeasurable rainfall. That being said, it does almost guarantee that we're not going to start cutting as early this morning because of the moisture on the plants. No guarantees on whether or not it brings the average moisture of those soybeans up to a more ideal range. One can always hope. It's not guaranteed though.
Ready to go. Whoa. That's an accident waiting to happen.
In a couple hours before it'll cut?
I'd say at least 3.
Time for our morning service. Oh, I was greeted by water and not soybean dust this morning. That's pleasant.
The oil. The interstate's already buzzing with traffic.
No surprises there. Interstate 57 is a pretty hot route headed to Chicago. It gets a lot of traffic from the southern parts of Illinois and other state areas to the south. Come on. Spoke too soon about enjoying this tarp. It sucks. Should have spent the extra money and got the power tarp.
At least I partially got my grain cart washed off.
Whew, I was not prepared for that much of a forearm workout to start the morning. I'm not gonna be able to hold the camera all day now.
If that was the worst part of our day, we're in good shape. Look what we got, some 30 amp fuses, so we can use our refrigerator now. Refrigerator not working. Refrigerator working. It's that easy. Marty's headed to the fuel barrel with the S780, and we're headed to
How much you got on, Andy?
Libra cart making my life a dream here in the grain cart, automating record keeping.
And just like that, grain cart's empty. We have field totals for what we cut at the end of last night. That field of Pioneer 38 T76E enlist soybeans made a hair over 74 bushels per acre. The fact that this field across the road that we just cut made 74 and change and out yielded the 130 acres that I complained our way across a couple days ago is pretty spectacular. Same variety, but I would take the first farm, the 130 acres, over this farm 99 years out of 100. So maybe by that logic this year would have been the year to take this farm. This dirt though, not even comparable to what we're farming over there, so it does not make any sense as to why that yielded so poorly in comparison. 74 for this farm, given the growing season, is pretty darn impressive. 72 and change for that other farm, given the growing season, is pretty darn disappointing.
Park back here by the 670. We need to get the production crew on set and get these boots fixed. One broken sickle section. That's it. Just one over on the far end. We can change that real quick.
I should be able to have this changed in under 2 minutes, so I'm gonna leave the combine running.
Did I say 2 minutes? I meant 20.
My maintenance projects never go as quick in reality as they do in theory. Seems to be a trend with me.
Unhooking the head and going to get fuel. Don't mind me, just sharing the road with my fellow cars and trucks.
That's about as smooth as I can hold the camera, because there's nothing smooth about taking a combine down the road. They do a lot of hopping as the weight shifts.
Fuel time.
That was dinner. This is dessert. If I knew what was going on, I'd probably tell you. I don't, in fact, though, have any idea what he's doing. Maybe just moving the augers out of the way off the grass. Who knows with him? Sometimes I don't know if he even knows what he's doing.
Boy, we've already used 665 gallons of diesel fuel this morning, and we're not even done yet. Katie's ready for the day. Full tank of fuel, full tank of def, clean-ish windows, and we're gonna go move the other stuff. Chris and Jeff have both the drapers. We're headed north.
The only time I take an alternative route compared to the way I would normally take, I run into a road paving crew. Go figure. The beans are about where we want them moisture-wise, running 12 to 13%. Honestly, about as perfect as it can be. However, the stem moisture from that dew or that light rain this morning is an issue. You can see right there where one of the drapers was dragging up. Probably gonna have to let the sunshine work for an hour before we hit the ground running out here. Oh yeah, still a lot of moisture in the stems and the chaff this morning. We'll need a little bit of time.
Why didn't you tell me they were paving that road? I wouldn't have gone that way. Old State.
What?
Yeah, they're paving Old State.
Like this way? Or where? They oiled it. Now they're paving
They're
it?
paving it. Who knows, maybe the boss will change his mind and we'll be cutting full speed here in another couple minutes.
Katie and I know that that's about the way things go. He's like a mood ring sometimes. We're not cutting, and the next thing you know, you blink your eyes and move everything to the field, we're cutting full speed.
Head shutting off. I'd say we're gonna give it a few minutes. You really take for granted how nice it is to be able to drive the pickup trucks and the head carts out in the field when it's still dry. Once it turns off wet in the fall, you really miss being able to do that. It's a luxury to have firm ground.
That goes for the semi-trucks as well. We'll probably end up pulling them in the field. If it was wet at all out here, and we'd take a lot more of a rain than barely a tenth, but if it was wet at all out here, we'd have to stay on the roads because those trucks just do not perform well in soft ground. Took about a 30-minute lunch break, and we're back and try and cut these beans. Time to open up the field.
I've got a nice little test plot checkered across this field between two different numbers. One are those Pioneer 38 T76s. It was on one half of the planter. On the other half, we had a new bean from their A-Series line that's going to be available next year for everyone to grow. It is a 37 number. I can't remember the last two off the top of my head. But it should be interesting to see if there's a yield advantage to the newer products. The full hopper tells me that these beans are yielding a little bit better than they did back down south.
I can't decide if he cleaned his windows this morning or went out there with a dirty cheeseburger wrapper and tried to wipe them down. Either way, there's a lot of smudges. Regardless of what these beans end up making, it's a beautiful day to be harvesting soybeans here in Central Illinois. Absolutely blessed to be doing it. time this year, we're using all 370 horses under the hood in this tractor. We are running like a dog trying to keep these combines empty. Half-mile throughs and high-yielding beans. These are the fields that you love to harvest. High productivity both in soybean yields and because the combine spends so much time in the beans and so little time turning. You also have pretty good throughput for both your machines. The only thing that really hurts our overall timeliness on this farm was the hour we waited right when we got here just because the beans wouldn't cut. Other than that, though, we are just cruising through this field. We gotta stop and pick up our help. That is an advanced technique. If you have no idea what you're doing, do not try that. You'll be putting a lot of bandages on your fingers. Our poor truck drivers are also getting a workout. No one's gonna be upset though about having too many beans come off the field too fast. Looks like my truck facing cameras come ajar. Can't even see me unloading, which means I actually have to pay attention. Just kidding, I didn't really use that camera a whole lot other than just to keep an eye on things. Good to go, Jeff. I've got a mostly loaded cart right now and no truck waiting to dump onto. Must be a line at the elevator. That or Chris just forgot where 10th gear was. Maybe even some combination of the two. I had time to get one head cart stage and conveniently Chris arrives, which is perfect because I'm full and the combines will be full before too long. He's gonna take his time. We're gonna get our money's worth out of him each load. Libra cart shows 34,570, which is 576 bushels. Pretty good work for a rookie grain cart operator like myself. I get paid more myself if the combines don't stop. Just kidding, I get paid by the hour, so I might as well slow everything down here. They say that hourly employees do think a little bit slower. I made him dump on me while not cutting to reduce our efficiency. Totally a joke, by the way. That was his choice, not mine. I can always count on Jeff to keep the hammer down. He knows how to drive fast. The sun looks warm. That may be the smartest thing I've ever said. With that last load that Jeff's taking out of the field right now, the elevator, Libra cart tells me that this field has already made 65 bushels per acre guaranteed, and we still have a little chunk left, so hopefully we'll be in the 80s on this farm. Going road gear. This is not recommended. Like a well-oiled machine. No idea how many of you are even interested to see this, but you can see we're almost done with this field. Just got a few more throughs we haven't completed yet. As it currently stands, the combines are showing about an 82 bushel per acre average, which is outstanding. That is in line with expectations for a farm of this quality. Again, not to beat a dead horse, because I've beat a dead horse a million times already in the last few days. That farm, the 130 acres, is very similar to this one. Same variety out there, and it underperformed by 10 plus bushels an acre. This field's meeting our expectations though. Good dark ground, must have got some good timely rains, and we're gonna definitely be in the low 80s. It's just a matter of where that last decimal falls to see what the field average is. You can see the distinct differences between the two Pioneer soybean varieties. I couldn't tell you without actually looking at my map which one is the 37A59 or the newer soybean and which one is the 38T76, which is supposedly the older soybean that is going to be getting replaced in the future. But according to our yield monitors right now, it's losing by 2 to 3 bushels an acre. For all of you old timers out there, take this as a lesson. You're not out of the race yet. The only major difference I can see by looking at the beans, and this may not be worth much, this darker bean, which I'm assuming is the 38T76s, is filled out a lot more. Every pod has completed, a lot of 3 bean pods on here. We look over at this bean, which I'm assuming is the 37s. I could be completely wrong, and it could be the higher yielding one, but a lot of 2 bean pods on here, and the beans in the pods that are there are smaller, which could be leading to this having a disadvantage in yield. These right here look like tremendous beans. Not that the lighter color ones over there don't. This variety, though, definitely seems to be the racehorse in this field. The color of the soybeans themselves quite literally means nothing. It's just differences in genetics. You can actually see out here nearly the entire growing season where the different beans were placed at, just because they look different all year. Yes, I am excited. I've been looking forward to this since late April when we planted these beans. Wanted to see how they'd compare. Boy, oh boy, is that a good looking grain cart rig right there. Maybe I'm just biased, who knows. There's Chris, just when we needed him. Chris is off the elevator again. See you later. Okay, so we got another field just a little bit down the road to the southeast. Only about 20 acres. We're gonna go ahead and move that way. We will have to wait for a semi for the auger wagon because it is a different farm split we're moving to. While I dump the second combine, take the head off, dump the grain cart, all that jazz, you guys are gonna go with Katie. Have fun, don't cause any trouble. Did you miss me? I doubt it, because you got to hang out with Katie while she took the head cart down the road, and then Marty on the S780. Everything's moved to this field. It's only a short 20, so not really going to amount to much. This is the same bean that we cut towards the beginning of harvest, the 35 T15E Pioneer soybeans. They yielded extremely well for us on some good ground, just about a mile to the northwest. So we'll see how they do on this farm. This is really good dirt as well. We're not that far away from the field we just cut. It does have a little bit of drainage issues. I don't think we'll be here too long. I actually find this a little bit surprising. According to the scale information, courtesy of the LibreCart scale system, automatically keeping track of our unloads and tallying the whole field, the combine monitors were spot on the field that we just came from. It made just shy of 83 bushels per acre. Pretty darn good. I'm gonna have to revert my statement about you old folks though, and you still having a little bit of fight left in you, because the 38 T76s did end up falling on the total field average by about a half bushel per acre to the 37 A58s. A half bushel of an acre difference does add up on an 80 bushel field. I'm not sure why the system was showing the 3/8 to have the lead at the beginning. Maybe we got into a different part of the field with some different conditions going to growing season, and the 3/7s performed better in that area and ended up taking back the lead. If this field makes anything over 70 bushels per acre, it's not going to fit on these two trucks. However, it would fit on two semi-loads, so that begs the question, do we even load the 10-wheeler load? By doing so, we'd create a third load out of this field. Might just wait for the truck to get back and send two semis. All that's left is what's between those two combines, so virtually nothing. What will most likely end up happening is that I will leave the loaded grain cart here. Jeff will come back here from the elevator and finish dumping this grain cart into a semi, because it'll fit in there but not in the 10-wheeler. And then Chris and I will help the combines move south to another field. Every additional bushel I put on this truck as the experienced grain cart operator probably makes Jeff's life a little easier, because if it is close, I don't want him having to try and squeeze in a super full 100% load without a ton of experience in this machine. To translate that for all of you, I have the perfect excuse to overload this truck. Always looking for one of those. Just enough room for the tarp and nothing more. That's all that's left. Marty went to start dumping on the go, and instead of turning his auger on, he hit his head lift up preset button. That's what happens when you're talking on the phone. This little field's done. Dad, that's a combine, not a drag racer. 31,000. I actually may be able to fit that on the 10-wheeler. Time to hit the road. I knew there was a reason I loaded that semi so full. Put an asterisk on this because I don't know if I have the acreage right, but this made just a hair over 72 bushels an acre. Could be better, could be worse. We're on head cart duty again, headed south. Combines are opening up the field. We're getting the green cart. Throw the auger away for travel. Alright, keep going. America! Fashionably late to the party. That's just my style. The big green eclipse. This is another one of those rolling farms. significant change in elevation from the north to the south side of this farm. There's a ton of drop. It has a bunch of terraces across it, and pretty deep ones at that. These are meant to slow the flow of the water down grade. Most of them have a drainage inlet out in the bottom. A few of them flow into this drainage ditch. Essentially, it slows down the flow of the water so the farm does not wash extremely bad. The issue with that is unloading on the go, especially for Katie's S670, because it doesn't quite have the same amount of vertical auger clearance that Dad's S780 does. There's a pretty noticeable difference between the two, so you may see us do a lot of parked unloading. All things considered, this is a bad farm to be in a hurry on when you're the grain cart operator, because you're going to get rattled to death. It's a dangerous game you're playing with a full hopper, Marty, especially on this farm. We both know the consequences of this. Inches away from disaster. A tale as old as time. This is one of those farms that's no fun to harvest. At least it looks good while it's doing it. While the combines have been busy cutting, I've been busy entertaining my nephews. Let them drive the nice 8R. They're also mystified by the massaging seat in the tractor. Don't look too excited. Uncle Andy is a fan favorite because he's the only one who lets the kids drive the tractors. Not only is it fun for them, they're also the perfect excuse for me to the combine operators. When I say, hey Marty, your grandkids are the ones slowing us down, not me. It's just a win-win all around. The kids have fun, I've got a great excuse. Marty's about to run Katie over in the S780. He's only got one speed, full speed. She just got as far out of his way as possible, which is probably a wise choice. This 8R is just an absolute showstopper. If looks could kill. Dad, right there in the 780, just radioed me and asked me to turn off even more of my lights because they're too blinding. I aim to please, so I turned them off.
You should turn your lights back on now. I'm not facing you.
One itsy bitsy sliver left of this field.
One last pass.
I probably shouldn't stand right in the middle of the Draper path after dark. Who knows with Marty? That'll do for this field and for this night of farming. Depending on how efficient we are, we've probably got one really hard day of harvesting left. Most likely two though. I know how things go.
The machines are going to sit out here in the night sky and take it easy for the night. We have harvested for close to 10 days in a row, if I had to guess. A little bit of a reprieve this morning with a slight rain shower. I think that's going to be the last though in the next 7 to 10 days of rain events. So once we get these last few fields of beans knocked out, barring any unforeseen circumstances, we're going to be running hard on corn.
Corn harvest always takes a backseat to soybean harvest. Soybeans are so finicky with their moisture. You got to cut them when they're ready. You don't know what the weather in the future is going to hold. And if you do not take advantage of the opportunities in front of you to get them out of the field, who knows what kind of mess you're going to have to deal with later. Anyways, I think that's going to be it for me tonight. I'll catch you guys all in the next episode. I'm greatly appreciative of all your continued support and viewership on the channel. It means the world to me. Until I see you again, make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more, and comment down below if you have any questions. You know I love to talk about farming. Have a great day, everyone. Peace!